Childhood obesity is not just a short-term health concern. It is a warning sign of long-term, compounded risk, including a heightened likelihood of developing cancer later in life. Children who are overweight or obese are significantly more likely to remain so into adulthood, setting the stage for a lifetime of metabolic dysfunction, hormonal imbalance, and chronic inflammation. These underlying conditions, sustained over decades, form a biological environment that can silently and gradually promote cancer development. The earlier obesity begins, the more damaging its cumulative impact tends to be. Excess fat in childhood affects key regulatory systems during a critical period of growth and development. Hormonal pathways, immune function, and metabolism are all still maturing during youth, and chronic overnutrition or inactivity can derail these processes in ways that are difficult to reverse. For example, insulin resistance often starts during adolescence in children with obesity, leading to elevated insulin and IGF-1 levels, hormones that promote cellular proliferation and inhibit normal cell death, both of which increase cancer risk. Obesity also affects sex hormones even before adulthood. In girls, early puberty is more common in those with excess body fat, which means a longer lifetime exposure to estrogen, a hormone linked to an increased risk of breast and endometrial cancers. In boys, obesity can alter testosterone levels and is associated with lower sperm quality and other signs of endocrine disruption. These changes, while subtle early on, contribute to the hormonal imbalances that persist into adulthood and further fuel the development of hormone-sensitive cancers. Chronic low-grade inflammation, a hallmark of obesity, begins in childhood and quietly inflicts damage over time. Inflammatory cytokines and oxidative stress can impair DNA repair mechanisms and damage cellular structures, increasing susceptibility to future mutations. When this inflammatory state stretches across decades, as it often does in people who are obese from a young age, it becomes a powerful engine of disease. Over time, this sustained inflammation does more than raise cancer risk. It also worsens prognosis by impairing immune surveillance and making tumors more resilient to treatment. Longitudinal studies show a clear connection between early life obesity and elevated risk of colorectal, kidney, pancreatic, and postmenopausal breast cancers. In some cases, these cancers appear decades after the initial onset of obesity, underscoring how early risk factors can translate into late consequences. And while obesity is not a direct cause of all cancers, it significantly raises the probability of developing some of the most deadly and difficult-to-treat forms. The social consequences are just as dangerous as the biological ones. Children with obesity often face bullying, low self-esteem, and social isolation, which can lead to depression, disordered eating, or avoidance of physical activity, all of which further reinforce the cycle of weight gain and poor health. Worse still, they may encounter stigma in medical settings, leading to avoidance of care or delayed diagnosis of emerging health problems. These psychological and systemic barriers make prevention and intervention even more challenging. Efforts to reduce childhood obesity have been uneven and often ineffective. School-based nutrition programs, while important, are frequently underfunded or undermined by unhealthy food marketing and limited parental support. Physical education is increasingly deprioritized in many schools, especially in under-resourced districts. Meanwhile, children in low-income communities continue to face the greatest obstacles to a healthy lifestyle: limited access to nutritious food, safe play spaces, and quality healthcare. The long-term cancer risk associated with childhood obesity is not just a distant possibility, it is a growing, measurable threat. If current trends continue, more adults will reach middle age already carrying decades of obesity-related damage. This will not only drive up cancer incidence, but also place a greater burden on healthcare systems that are ill-prepared for the early onset of complex, chronic conditions. Prevention must start early and be sustained. That means addressing the root causes of childhood obesity, not just in terms of diet and exercise, but also by confronting poverty, food insecurity, and inequities in education and healthcare. Without these deeper changes, today's childhood obesity epidemic will become tomorrow's cancer crisis. And by the time those cancers appear, it will be too late to undo the damage that began in youth.